Okay, solving equations in the standard form. We factorize the quadratic trinomial. So remember, what factors of C, so what can be multiplied together to add up to be B. So we've done this before, and then we use the null factor law. All right, so for example here, we need a number that can add up to -3, in this case -7 and +4, and then multiply to -28, which is -7 +4. And so then we just take each of those as we've done before and figure out what the solution would be for them to equal 0, and we get it. So we've been in this route before. Equations involving perfect squares will only give one solution. So if this ends up being x minus 3 squared, there's only one way to go. And that fancy word monic comes up again because it just means the coefficient of x squared is 1, which makes our lives a lot easier, let me tell you at this point. So what are we going to do here? So if we look, I need two numbers that add up to 7 and that will multiply to be 12. And so in my mind, those are 3 and 4, and we're lucky that they're both positive. So x plus 3 times x plus 4 are going to be the factorized version of this. So all we have to figure out that x plus 3 equals 0, which will give me x is -3, because remember I'm subtracting 3 from both of these. And the other solution is, well, you can probably look at it and tell me. If I would have x plus 4 equals 0, and I took 4 from both sides, I would get that x is equal to -4. Right? Now I've got negatives, so that's a little bit different. So I'm going to have to use some kind of combination that's going to add up to -2 and multiply to -8. And that -8 makes me think one of these is going to be positive and one of these is going to be negative. So 4 and 2 will work. X minus 4, that puts us into the negative side, times x plus 2. So -4 plus 2 gives me -2, and -4 times 2 gives me -8. And again, x minus 4 equals 0, so x will equal 4 because I am adding 4 to both sides. And x plus 2, hopefully you can see what's going to happen here. X is going to be -2 because I'm taking them away. So it's either going to be this or it's going to be that. Now for this one, I've got a negative in the middle and I've got a positive on the outside. So they're either both going to be positive, and I don't think so, I've got a negative, or they're both going to be negative. So what gives us 8? We can add up. First, let me think of the factors of 15. 1 and 15. I can't get 8 out of that. 3 and 5. Aha, I can get 8 out of that. So if I did x minus, doesn't matter what order, let's do x minus 5 first, times x minus 3, that's 0, because -5 and -3 add up to -8. And negative times a negative, -5 times -3 gives us positive 15. And so now we've got, so x minus 5 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. And if I add 5 to both sides, and I add 3 to both sides, I've got my two answers. Now, for these ones here, similar idea, but they're going to actually work out too. If I look at it carefully, I'm going to end up with x minus 4 times x minus 4, because -4 plus -4 gives me 8, and -4, -4 times -4 gives me a positive 16. So I've actually got that number, I've got it twice, I've got it squared. So I only need to figure out one of them. It'll only have one solution, and if I add 4 to both sides, then I'm going to get x is equal to 4, and that's my solution. I'm done. I can do no more. And for this one, I'd like to turn this back. I'm going to turn, in order to factorize it, I'm going to turn it back into standard form. So because I have an x on the right side, I'm going to take away x's on both sides. Because I have a 6 on the right side, I'm going to take away 6's from both sides. I'm going fast because we've done this previously. So this puts us into standard form. Then we look at, remember this sort of an invisible 1 in front of that x. So what two numbers are going to add up to give me -1? I reckon it's -3. And it's plus 2, because that'll give us added to -1, -3 plus 2, positive gives us -1, and -3 times positive 2 gives us -6. So we're in good shape. So now we have to figure out -3, x minus -3 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0, and I'm sure you can see that we're adding 3 to both sides, or we're subtracting 2 from both sides, so those are our two answers.